59-0. That's what the Badgers were beaten. And some of you have had some problems with what I tweeted out. I've been hearing it from many Badger fans. First of all, let me remind you, I picked the Badgers to win 24-20, and I thought the Badgers defense would come much more ready to play than what they did. A couple of things we discovered. First and foremost, the Buckeyes won that game in the trenches. They just flat out beat them. And they were much, much faster than what Wisconsin had to offer. I mean, they filled the gaps on Melvin Gordon so quick. They got penetration in the line, and then they filled the gaps so fast he never really had an opportunity, either one, to get through the hole or two, to break it outside. They were just that quick. So we know one thing. In the West, it's great to win the West, but if you're going to beat the East and beat the best, you're going to have to elevate your level of execution. You're going to have to elevate your level of recruiting. So the other thing we learned was Gary Anderson, to be shut out 59-0, this team wasn't ready to play. It just wasn't ready to play. I mean, you can talk about having great practices and thinking you're ready to play. This team wasn't ready to play. And the reason that we know that is because all you had to do was look at some of the faces. They were shell-shocked. A lot of the Badgers were shell-shocked. They didn't have an answer. They almost looked as in awe of the Buckeyes as many of us were. And those were the guys that were in the trenches. Gary Anderson stood on the sideline and just looked bewildered, like he flat out didn't have an answer. And when you don't have an answer, it's one thing if you're an inferior opponent. If you're Dobson State or something, Little Sisters of the Poor. But this is Wisconsin. They didn't have an answer. Gary Anderson just flat out looked beaten. And you can't have that. He was still coaching till the end. He was still being encouraging, especially on the blocked field goal. He was still out there rah-rahing his guys, but rah-rah doesn't cut it. You have to figure out ways to make adjustments. You have to move guys around, and if guys aren't getting the job done, you got to find somebody else that can. Anything and everything at that point. Now, the people that I feel the worst for are the seniors. This was their hurrah, man, as far as the Big Ten championship goes. And to go out like that, 59-0, at least you've got a bowl game to try to get some redemption. And let's hope that the Badgers do. Better luck next year.
Awesome.